take that next step. Those are the Falcons, and with the Saints falling by the wayside, the door is open this past year for Atlanta. Talk about the Saints a bit. Without Sean Payton, they went down from 13 wins to 7 wins, but now Sean Payton is back, and he has a new coordinator as well. There's Rob Ryan. They're going to bring in Rob Ryan and switch over to a 3-4 defense. There is a change for the Saints. One thing that is not changing, however, is Drew Brees. 89 touchdown passes over the last 2 seasons. The offense wasn't the well-oiled machine without Sean Payton, but it was still putting up points left and right. Do we have to assume now that if and when Sean Payton gets back on that sideline, and he is back, he's been reinstated, that they're now the favorites? Do they now jump ahead of the Falcons in the NFC South?
Oh, well, they still got to go out and prove that, because the Falcons, again, was the best in that division. And, yes, Sean Payton is going to be a big part of that. When you talk about the game planning, when you talk about the structure of a team, it just doesn't happen to go out there and coach guys and put them in different positions. He is a game caller. He's one of the best guys in calling plays. He's one of the best guys at adjustments on the field. When you talk about game planning and making certain decisions, changing the tempo, substituting, finding those mismatches on the team, Sean Payton is one of the best. And when you call a game, nobody can pretty compete with him. He makes a lot of decisions. He does a lot of things that gives, especially his quarterback, the edge. When you make an offense like this, when you design an offense like this, you need the guy who designed it right there. And we saw a little bit of fall off on that offense, especially with him and Drew Brees, the way that they feed off each other. We didn't see that this year, but I think it's going to be a big change if you have Sean Payton back.
You had a massive fall off on defense, historically bad, really, on defense. Steve Spagnuolo is out. Yes. Rob Ryan is in. You know Rob Ryan.
Yes,
can he fix this defense?
I think he can. And when you talk about Rob Ryan, and one thing he's going to bring an attitude. He's going to bring some aggressiveness to this defense. Now, they wanted to go to a 3-4 system, so that's going to make some changes for certain players, especially Vilma. We saw Vilma in New York. He didn't really fare well in a 3-4 system. So there's going to be some questions there, but they did bring in some other guys that can play. Lofton, who left Atlanta, who we were talking about earlier, Hawthorne and Chamberlain. These guys can play in a 3-4 system. You have to be a man at that linebacker position, because you have to come up and you have to thud those guards. You play a 2-gap system up front, so you got to have a strong nose guard and 2 defensive ends. So there's going to be some change there. But if they buy into the system, they can be successful.
Wow, look out, because we know that team still has talent. Sean Payton's back, and it's likely a different team with him back on the sideline. Lindsay?
Well, Andrew,